Your balance, your life. Your balance form the foundation of your life. They dictate the choices you make and determine the direction that your life takes. Your values will influence decisions related to your relationships, career, and other activities you engage in. Despite this important, few people choose their values. Instead, they simply adopt the values of their parents and the dominant values of society. In all likelihood, the values that you internalize has should remain with you throughout adulthood. Informally, these values may also have created a life that is creating you down a path that is not the direction you want to go at this point in your life. What were the values you were related with? What values were uh, what values are you presently life in accordance with? Are they the same or different? Do your values bring you happiness? Destructing your values. To truly understand what values you possess and life be, you must deconstruct them until you are able to clearly see what exactly you values and with you all those values looking openly and honestly at way you were realized in the first step in the different thing the values that you think were growing up. What did your parents value and what values did they impressions upon you? Achievements, wealth, education, relation, status, independence. Um, Parents think back your childhood and ask yourself several questions. What values their daily life? What values were stressed in your family? What values were reflected in the way you were regret or punished? For example, were you worrying for being handled ranked in your high school class and for winning an sport or were were reworked for giving your best effort for helping others. Your next step in this construction process involves looking at your present life and the values your life reflects. In responding to the question, you should ask yourselves what values underline your answers. What do you do for a living? And your comparative employing a business, other a teacher, Slepson, a carter or social worker. A common question that people in social getting ask is, what do you do for a living? For example, through a bit of generalization, it is probable safe to say that some who becomes an investment banker has different values that some who becomes an elementary school teacher. What those underlying values might be may vary, but one may assume that the investment banker values money, while the teacher values education and helping children. Where do you live a high-rise apartment, a city in the suburbs, or the country, and what values lead you there? What activities do you engage in most? Cultural, physical, religious, political, social, and what values are reflected in those activity? What do you do that talk about mostly politics, relations, the economy, other people? And what does that tell you about your values? Finally, first, the most telling question reflecting what you values is what do you do spend your money on a home, cars, travel, clothing, education, or charity? Because money is limited resource for most people. They will use their money in was that they value most over and above what people say. and other indications in their life where they spend their hard earning money says the most about their values. You can then ask yourselves whether your current values are the same as those you read up with. Have you gone through a period of examination and reconsideration? Have you suddenly chose to discard some values from your upbringing and adopt new ones? Know that have the structure your life and they have a clear idea of what you values. You can see the values upon which you have created your life. You can see whether those values contribute to your dissatisfactions or in your happiness. Look and the which aspects of your life contribute to honest happiness, your current married life lifestyle, and ask yourself what values underlie these parts on your life. According them that were strong my work and in their lively boring into values through the primary popular culture, for example, winning status, power, appearance, and consummations. In a slang cause of these satisfactions, the popular current in America today, as reflected in the various media, no longer has the time, attention, and span or energy to devote the wage and the steep issues such as values. It is much easier to focus on the superficial things in our cultures. Thus, the pursuit of will and material goods has become the dominant value in much of our society. In the mistakes belief and that these values will bring people happiness. One of the most powerful ways in which this value was impressed on you was in how you're learning to define socials, popular culture typical defines socials as winning, well status, physical appearance, and popularity. The more money and power you have, the more attractive and popular you are, the more socials you will be. Growing up with these definitions, success was learning on a table for most people. At the same time, our culture may losing even more intolerable to contempt being for powers unattractive and popular, example insociable. With this restrict definition, you may have believed, like so many others, that you were crowded in the unstable situations of having lighting opportunity for success and great chance for failure. Having accepted socially and narrow definition of success and failure takes away your power to say how do you say we should do define them by boring into popular culture's main definition of success and failure rather than choosing definition based on your own values. You can't become three socials and happy because you are focused down a path that it is for most people impossible to attain, and that is not truly yours. You may become socials in the eyes of society, but you probably won't feel like socials yourself, and this part certainly won't bring you meaning, happiness, or real socials in your life. I explore how reconstruct your values in a future post.